Hi, Kuntal.
Hey Mandira, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How's it going?
Good, good.
Yeah.
As a professional, we are always busy because, client, we always jokingly say that client would want everything by yesterday.
Yeah, so reasonable they are.
So understanding and reasonable.
That's
But then there is something very important and interesting which we have been busy with for our clients for past few months. Many of our clients are coming to us and they would want us to help them by setting up a family office.
family office. I've been hearing about it too, and I've always wanted to know more. So maybe you could shed some light on it.
Yeah, sure, of course. When you think of a word office, what crosses your mind? It's all system, process, discipline,
Structure.
structure. That's what family office is all about. When you say I'm going to set up a family office, it's nothing else but a very systematic and a comprehensive wealth management solution which has been tailored to meet the unique needs of high net worth individuals and their families. It serves as a centralized platform for managing various aspects of a family's financial affairs. And also it can be a strategy for the family to segregate ownership rights versus management rights over the family business. And this will facilitate in preserving the family wealth and also to democratize the management structure of the family business.
Right. Now, this sounds very interesting. Say I wanted to start or set up my own family office. Where would I begin?
I think what our experience tells us that, setting up a family office would first entail that you need to first assess in-house. You need to understand what are your financial needs, what are your financial goals, and then also need to see your budgets and your resources. And then you need to choose a right structure which can fit your circumstances. And there can't be a one size fits all. We'll have to see your financial circumstances.
Tailor-made to different.
Yes. And then you need to update it. You need to have some kind of flexibility in your structure, because if there is any circumstances leading to changes in your needs or changes in your financial position, your family office structure should be able to capture that. And that's what, we get involved with our clients. We help them in this very intricate and important aspect, because you need to have somebody who is trustworthy. You need to have somebody who can understand beyond numbers the family values and family ethos. And that's what would mean about setting up the family office.
Right. So, when and under what circumstances should a person or a family think about opening a family office?
Yeah, that's
starting a family office.
A very, very good question. And we always talk with our clients about this. And the decision to establish, family office hinges on the complexities of managing diverse assets as well as the stakeholders involved into the whole process. And we also offer a strategic approach whereby they can achieve their financial strategy and financial goals. And this decision is also contingent upon various other financial aspects like family circumstances, the objectives, and the long-term goals which you want to achieve. Now, say for example, a family has a listed company, then you need to have a good structure in place so that it takes care of all the reporting requirements. Or say, you have a 3-generation of family running the business. So it always makes sense for you to set up your family office when the head of the family is there, so that it is easy for you to implement it. And then I think there are a variety of circumstances which one will have to factor, like whether you are having only one business or you're having multiple businesses, or you are trying to have business only in India or outside of India, or you want to have a company which is already listed, or you're looking to go into listing, or you're looking to exit your company, or you want to divest some stake. All this will get facilitated if you have a good family office in place. And it only doesn't apply to family offices. I think we can also look at CXOs, high net worth individuals, sports personalities, and then we can also look at film personalities, because everybody will have to manage their wealth.
I'm thinking about it.
Yes, and it's also not important to look at the size of your wealth. There are certain typical circumstances where you need to have family office irrespective of your family wealth size. Say there's a very small family, a couple and with one specially able child. And if that being the family setup, you don't need to wait for your family wealth to grow. You need to have a family office now, because somebody will to plan for it. So it depends how you want to do, how you want to set it up, and also the constitution of your family. Like you have today many families with family members looking to go outside of India, or you already have people who are outside of India. With such kind of a diverse, asset portfolio, different continents, again, family office helps you to structure it, because there are so many complications when it comes to dealing with foreign wealth or repatriating foreign money.
Absolutely.
You need to have family office in place.
You told me in pretty fair amount of detail, but what are the other areas that can be addressed when implementing family office?
Yes, so I think typically implementing a family office can address a wide range of areas which are crucial to the financial well-being and the long-term prosperity of the family.
Right.
So the most important area would be wealth protection and succession planning, and also segregation of ownership rights vis-a-vis management rights over the underlying business.
Okay.
And in today's fast-paced life and dynamics of business and aspirations of the family members, which are driven under peer pressure, which would also make family and family members to have some uncertainty and conflicting future paths.
Of course.
And which can also lead to some disputes. Say, for example, one of the family members would want to splurge money on buying a very expensive car, whereas the other family member would think, no, I don't want to spend. I want to use this money
More
for something else.
conservative, yes.
So that's where family office can provide a very sound and legally enforceable mechanism to preserve the wealth, not only in good times, but also during troublous time.
Okay.
And it can also facilitate future cash outflows, which family will need either for a planned activities or for unplanned activities.
Now, can you give us like an overview of the elements or constituents of family office?
Yes. I think when you talk family office, it involves and it would cover many aspects which would make a sound family office. One will have to include a will in a family office. There will be some special purpose vehicles for managing specific assets or a specific business. You'll have to have a governance structure so that, family can establish clear rules and a decision-making process. Also, you need to have estate planning and trust management, which will ensure orderly transfer of the assets, and also compliances. You minimize your tax liability. Families will have their own ethos to maybe do philanthropy or have involved into some social impact initiatives.
Sure.
All that will have to be captured in your family office structure. And also, you need to have well set out rules so that it can also facilitate for the family members, especially the younger generation of the family, for their financial literacy, helping them to develop their leadership skills, and also ensure at the end of the day that there is a peace and cohesion among the family members.
Most important.
Correct?
Yes.
Right. Disputes can really,
tear families apart.
Yeah.
So, Kuntal, tell me how are these objectives typically achieved within a family office setup?
I think the most important, which we have seen, when we talk to our clients and we interact with them, and we also ask them, why you want to do that? And I think by and large, the most objective which comes out from implementing the family office is that they want to protect family wealth.
Yes.
They want to plan for the succession, and they want to establish a very clear, unambiguous governing structure that would align with family's values and wishes. And this would include managing the family business, defining the roles and duties of the family members, because you may have a family where probably all the family members are involved, or sometimes even spouse may get involved. So you need to have clear rules so that the management of the business doesn't get affected with the conflict and with some kind of bias around the minds of the family members. And then also you need to determine the distribution of business surplus. How do you distribute surplus? Because as I mentioned, somebody may want to splurge in buying a car.
Correct.
But he will say, this is out of my business surplus, right? So how do you stop that? So you need to have some kind of a governing structure. Very interesting example I can give. There was a family, 4 brothers, and one of the brothers' wife had suddenly, a windfall from her side of the family, which would mean that he would inherit something close to 400 crores.
Wow, that's quite a windfall.
And then there was a question that if that kind of wealth comes to only one brother as compared to other 3 brothers,
How is that fair?
how that will impact, how that would get, some kind of impact on the family business.
How is that dealt with?
And these
I'm
are the
curious
things.
to know.
These are the things which you need to ensure that you segregate such assets from the family assets, and you ensure that such assets or the income arising from such assets will not disturb the governance structure of
Or
the
the
family
rest of the
business.
family. Yeah.
So this is all what you need to do by having a family
So
office.
how did you deal with it? You're not allowed to tell. Okay, no problem. I'm not gonna push you. But you very briefly mentioned the will. Now, how does the will fit into this whole family office structure?
Right. So, as I mentioned, the objective of succession planning, and there are, we have seen in real life that, people would want to ensure that when I'm alive, I want to distribute everything to my family. I don't want fights amongst my family members.
Yeah.
But then there are certain, challenges from that. We know there are so many cases in our real life also
Where wills get
no, so
challenged.
so what happens that you want to distribute because you don't want to have a complication which may arise through will.
That's right.
And therefore you distribute. And
Right.
once you distribute, you don't have asset in your hand. You don't have control of the asset.
Yes.
It can have its own challenges.
Absolutely.
And what can happen is that the person who has distributed the assets whilst he's alive can face some complications and some challenges. Therefore, you need to also carefully plan the will. And therefore, what happens is that when you have a will which has been carefully executed, will ensure that the assets are distributed according to your wishes, and also you have right over the assets whilst you are alive, and you are able to enjoy those assets for your good as well, rather than having to go and take permission of the family members. And this will also ensure that the financial future of the family is secure. It involves consideration such as asset distribution, how it will happen, who will be the executor, who will be the trustee. And at the end, we are also looking at in near future, India to introduce inheritance tax.
Yes.
And how do you ensure that you balance it out,
Right.
that you don't have a lot of tax liabilities on the family members because of the assets getting distributed on account of the will.
Well, there's a saying, where there's a will, there's a way. But I'm going to say, where there's a family office, there's a great way ahead.
Sure.
High five to that. I learned a lot today. Kuntal, thank you very much. And I think family office is the way to go for
Yes.
families to, get along also, to, have their financial future planned out. And it really is the way forward.
Yeah, in fact, that's why we draft when the family office and the MOU. We also try and see that the document is drafted or structured in such a fashion that if a family member wants to exit, there is always a penalty for him to exit. So it discourages them to go away from the family.
Right.
And at the same time, you need to be flexible. There may be some genuine circumstances or reasons why one would want to go out of the family business. Then you also have to ensure that that doesn't come in the way of the growth of the family. So I think, it's something where it would depend upon the needs of the family and the circumstances of the family.
The family office has two F's, fairness and flexibility.
Yes.
See, I've learnt a lot. And, after we stop rolling this, I'm going to talk to you about my family office.
No, I'll be
Thank
happy
you.
to help you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
much. I enjoyed this as much as you enjoyed it.
I did.